cut off his leg. He's the best grandpa in the world.
His blood sugar level was through the roof. We're doing all we can. I'm afraid he's in a severe diabetic coma.
Please, Dr. Howard, help him.
Unfortunately, there's something else, ma'am. We'll need to amputate his leg. Today.
No!
It's hard to believe that was me, George Riley, only 2 years ago, almost to the day. See, for 10 long years, diabetes devastated my body and terrorized my family. It made me a slave to my medication and emptied my bank account. And it forced me into a deadly hyperosmolar non-ketotic coma for 2 days. A coma the doctors never thought I would wake up from. And when I did, they told me I was only weeks away from a scheduled leg amputation. But by the grace of God, my leg was saved from amputation by what happened next. And every day, I thank God for this miracle. Because even though it almost sent me to an early grave, what happened right after that completely transformed my entire life. You see, I'm only here telling you this right now because I survived to tell the tale. I reversed my type 2 diabetes, and you can too. And it was all thanks to my adorable 4-year-old grandson, Lucas. He saved my life.
Back then, when I was lying in the hospital about to have my leg amputated, I knew nothing about this deadly disease, except to take my medication. Yet this brush with death was what forced me on the unlikely journey that reversed my type 2 diabetes and changed my life forever. Since that day, I've discovered the scientific proof that you can reverse your type 2 diabetes. In a moment, you'll see the evidence with your own eyes. You can be sure it's not what you think.
Forget about what you've heard about diabetes when they told you it's caused by your genetics or your family history, your age, your weight, or even eating too much sugar or carbs.
The truth, according to a breakthrough American study from the University of Utah, is that the cause of diabetes type 2 is a tiny lipid molecule that makes your fat cells go haywire. This molecule forces toxic fat cells to stream into your blood. The toxic fat then sticks to your pancreas, liver, and heart, suffocating your vital organs and stiffening your arteries.
Stay with me for the next few minutes of this short video because I'm going to reveal how to target the root cause of diabetes type 2 with a delicious morning shake. I'll also show you how the shady powers behind the scenes have set up a clever trap to hide this information and trick you into taking their meds for the rest of your life. And I'm going to share the exact shake recipe that reversed my diabetes and helped me lose 42 pounds of dangerous fat and amaze my friends and family by activating a diabetes reversing mechanism that every one of us has. The solution is as simple as consuming a delicious shake that targets and reverses the root cause of diabetes type 2.
Anybody can use this nutritional method, no matter if you're 40, 50, 60, 70, or even 80 years of age, man or woman, no matter if you've had diabetes for 10 years or 10 days. I guarantee that you can safely use this breakthrough method yourself. And even if you only succeed in getting your blood sugar under control, it'll be worth it. I was skeptical about trying it myself, but with death staring me square in the face, I was ready to try anything. And thank God I did, because now I'm free of diabetes. Freeing myself from diabetes allowed me to rebuild my life. I now have the freedom to do whatever I want. I have the energy to play with my grandson, and most of all, I'll never have to take my debilitating medication again. This breakthrough method has now helped 37,839 diabetes type 2 sufferers free themselves from the disease. People like William, 64, from Massachusetts.
The method you shared online helped me to stabilize my blood sugar and lowered it to an acceptable level. And that's not all. I've also lost 36 pounds in the process, and I feel like I'm in my 40s again. At first I was skeptical, but I'm so delighted that I gave it a try. And now I am totally free of the daily pain of diabetes and the horrible side effects of medication and the tasteless meals. It transformed my life, and it also saved me a fortune in medical expenses along the way. Really, I was so very, very lucky to find out about your method.
Or Jessica, 52, from North Carolina, who says,
And I'm so glad I watched it till the end, because by using your exact method, I've been able to free myself from type 2 diabetes in only 5 weeks. I used to feel like such a burden to my family, and I was scared of dying a miserable death alone. But now I don't even need my meds, and I can eat whatever I want, including dessert.
You're about to see exactly how to reverse your diabetes type 2. Listen very closely. When you see how these people reverse their type 2 diabetes, you'll wish you'd found out about it years ago. You don't know about this discovery that reverses diabetes because doctors won't talk about it. It's not new medication. It's not a supplement. It's not a crash diet. It's nothing like that. The simplicity of this solution will surprise you and maybe enrage you. Pay close attention and watch this video until the end, because it will be taken down, and you can't find this information anywhere else. The $325 billion diabetes industry is furious about it and is pressuring me with legal threats to remove it. But the main reason to pay attention to everything I say is because what I'm about to reveal will transform your entire life. Before we get to how you can reverse your diabetes type 2 for good, I have to reveal some critical information about diabetes that will shock you. Most people think nothing bad will happen to them if they have diabetes. They think they'll be fine if they take their medication. Nobody thinks they're going to have a limb amputated, drop into a diabetic coma, or go blind. But that's what this disease does to people like us. Most doctors don't tell their patients how deadly diabetes type 2 can be. They don't want to worry the public. But did you know a type 2 diabetic has a 1 in 6 chance of falling into a diabetic coma? And did you know that 1 in 4 diabetics have a limb amputated? How about losing your eyesight? Diabetic retinopathy is an eye disease that degenerates the sight of 40.3% of diabetics in the USA. More and more of us each day fall victim to the lies of the powerful diabetes industry like I did. But even if losing your leg is horrific, it gets worse because
Diabetes leads to blindness, heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, and even dementia. And diabetes increases women's chances of cancer by 27%, according to the medical journal Diabetologia. High blood sugar is like pouring gasoline on fire,
as the cancer cells take over your body at a phenomenal rate. And it doesn't end there because a study published in the medical journal World Journal of Diabetes found that diabetes increases the risk of Alzheimer's disease by 65%. Some doctors are now calling Alzheimer's disease diabetes type 3. If you've been having trouble with your memory lately, it could be because diabetes is infecting your brain as well as your body. And what I'm about to say will be more important than ever because my discovery revealed much worse than what any doctor ever told me about diabetes. If you're a victim of this crippling disease, you have to know one thing. It's not your fault. I only found out the truth thanks to a chance encounter with an unlikely medical professor. If it wasn't for this meeting, I'd be 6 feet under instead of talking to you. Which is why I had to ask myself, why did my doctor never tell me that diabetes type 2 has been reversed in tens of thousands of people? It's true. Yet my own doctor, who I trusted, never once mentioned it to me. I felt furious at myself for having blindly followed his advice. Advice which led to a sudden diabetic coma, to the brink of brain damage and leg amputation.
Thousands of men and women have reversed their diabetes type 2 and now live happy, healthy lives. And it's all thanks to the morning shake I'm about to share with you.
And it's all thanks to the formula I'm about to share with you. Now, I can understand it if you're feeling skeptical at this point because most people believe there's nothing you can do to reverse diabetes type 2. I used to believe that too. But if you stay with me for 4 minutes, I'll show you the scientific proof behind this method that erases type 2 diabetes in 9 out of 10 people. And you can decide yourself if it's worth it. And even if you succeed in only improving your blood sugar levels, I urge you to give it a try. because that alone can add a decade to your life. When you free yourself of diabetes type 2, you will transform your entire life. Just imagine.
No more panic attacks about falling into a diabetic coma and waking up with brain damage. No more blowing thousands of hard-earned dollars a year on meds that cause bloating, kidney problems, and failure to perform in the bedroom.
No more waking up from nightmares drenched in sweat about having your leg hacked off. Instead, I promise you, you'll be free to do what you want. Your energy levels will soar. The fat will melt away from your frame and you'll improve every single one of your health markers. In a minute, I'll show you the warning sign you need to watch out for, which means you could drop into a diabetic coma at any time, like I did. Pay close attention because this advice could save your life. I'll also show you one common vegetable that most people eat almost every day that's infected with a nasty toxin that's making your diabetes worse, not better. Before we get to how you can reverse your type 2 diabetes for good, I should introduce myself. My name's George Riley. I'm 61 years old and work for a large security company near La Crosse, Wisconsin. I'm a perimeter security team leader, and I have 6 guys on my team. I'm married with 2 grown-up sons, Mike and Julian, 1 grandson, Lucas, and another on the way. For 18 years, I was a patrol officer in the police force. Then one morning, as I was out on a bust, my leg was hit by a stray bullet, which damaged my kneecap. I took medical retirement and switched to working private security because I've always felt responsible for the safety of others. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Linda. We enjoy eating out at restaurants and sharing a delicious dessert after our meal, such as ice cream with chocolate cake or warm apple pie. I'm going to tell you how you can enjoy these foods too, without guilt or worry, and be free of diabetes type 2. Telling my story is deeply emotional for me, but it's too important to keep from you, and it could save your life.
I was in my early 50s at this time, and our 2 children had grown up and moved out.
We were enjoying a new freedom at that time of our life. I took my health for granted because I felt fine. Until one day in early March that year, I started noticing some unusual symptoms. I'd have uncontrollable cravings for sweet buns and desserts like profiteroles. I'd often be thirsty and feel tired. All this made it difficult to work. We thought it was fatigue from working shifts, but a visit to the doctors revealed something completely different. I was diagnosed diabetic. It caught me by surprise, like a slap in the face. I knew nothing about diabetes, but I trusted I was in good hands with my doctor. From that day on, he prescribed metformin, and I went for monthly checkups on my blood sugar. I thought the medication would help my diabetes to get better. But instead, it got worse over the next 5 years. My blood sugar levels became more erratic. The tingling in my legs got more bothersome. Cravings for sweet foods overwhelmed me. I'm embarrassed to admit I found it hard to be intimate with my wife, and I packed on over 40 pounds of fat around my belly and back. My blood pressure went up. Nerve pains bothered my leg. My doctor upgraded my medication to metformin glyburide, but this only gave me a whole new bunch of side effects, such as bloating, kidney pains, and muscle aches. You may be noticing these symptoms too. Until one night at work, I collapsed and woke up in the hospital. It was a busy night, and the stress levels were through the roof due to repeated red security alerts. We were short-staffed and under a lot of pressure. The last thing I remember is feeling very hot and confused. Next thing I knew, I was waking up in the hospital bed, lights blinding my eyes, feeling groggy. And that's when I heard the doctor discussing the schedule for my leg amputation. Right at that moment, my eldest son, Mike, came into the hospital room with his 4-year-old boy, my dear grandson, Lucas. We'll have to cut his leg off from the knee. The blood vessels are narrowing, Dr. Richardson was telling my wife. We can schedule surgery for tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. He continued, unaware that he had new visitors in the room. My grandson, standing behind him, overheard this